What's good, everybody? It's the Clown with Cab show. UFC 307 was insane. Shout out to Alex Pereira retaining his light heavyweight championship belt, which I told you guys to go heavy on. I knew Alex Pereira was going to win either by TKO knockout or it would go to decision, but he won in the fourth round, beat Khalil Roundtree, the challenger. Look, Alex Pereira's just on another level right now. And a lot of people are saying, hey, should he go up to heavyweight? I think he needs to stay at light heavyweight where he's at. I just think it's a bad matchup if he were to fight somebody like the GOAT, John Jones. He does not want that matchup whatsoever. We're talking John Jones is excellent in every category in MMA. Not just stand-up, not just leg kicking. We're talking wrestling here. He can take anybody down. So I think Alex Pereira right now just needs to stay at the light heavyweight and continue to dominate. Continue to run through every light heavyweight contender right now. And that's Alex Pereira. I do think that UFC is pushing him a lot. I do think he deserves, 5-6 month break right now because Alex Pereira's been fighting so much recently. But hey, if Alex Pereira's ready for it, he's going to be there. I mean, this guy is a true killer. He's really about that life. And we look at him and say, hey, is he really from the jungle, dude? He really is, man. He's one of them old school type of dudes, the Aztec mother truckers that would just come up on you back in the tribal days and that would just take over your land and kill you. That's what they would used to do back in the Aztec days, back like 10,000 BC. Hundreds of thousands of years ago, but Alex Pereira, the face paint, everything, all the rituals he quotes unquote does, I don't really pay attention to that. All I pay attention to is Alex Pereira knocking dudes right out, and it's crazy. I mean, even the referees saying, hey, when he hears Alex Pereira land shots on his opponents, it's just like, dude, this is ungodly, bro. This is like, I've never heard this type of stuff. So I think Alex Pereira, he's on his way to become one of the greats of all time in the UFC. However, is he the GOAT? No. He's definitely in the conversation if he continues this reign right now. We're talking about a guy that's going to be in the top 5 greatest UFC fighters of all time, and Alex Pereira does have the opportunity to do that. I mean, man, it's insane to me. He had 129 strikes in this fight against Roundtree. To Roundtree, 62 total strikes. So really, it was just kind of lopsided, even though Roundtree did have good moments in this fight, especially early in the fight. I think it was the second round where Alex Pereira looked like he kind of stumbled in a way from one of Khalil's shots that he threw. But at the end of the day, you overcome adversity, and Alex Pereira's done that so many times in the UFC so far where it's like, man, what is next for Alex Pereira? Is there rematches? What's going to happen? Or could Alex Pereira possibly go down to 185 and fight Duplessis? You just never know. There's so many options for Alex Pereira, but I do think the best option for him is to stay at the light heavyweight division at 205 and just continue to dominate there. Or you could go to 185. I just think going up to heavyweight is a long shot, even though he probably comes into these fights 20 pounds over after the weigh-in. I mean, even, on Saturday, he probably weighed about 230 going into that fight. I just think Alex Pereira stay there or go to 185 and take out Duplessis, man. It's anybody's game in that division right now. But I just think Alex Pereira is a bona fide killer. He's really about that life. You can see it in his eyes. This dude is a straight killer. He has no remorse. There's no feelings inside the octagon. It's stone cold, cold-blooded, you or him. Damn, a killer be killed. What's it going to be? That's Alex Pereira's mindset. Shout out to Alex Pereira. I told you guys to go heavy on Alex Pereira. That bet hit. And then we got Pennington versus Juliana Pena. Pena ended up winning by split decision, and a lot of the fans were actually booing this fight. They thought Pennington won this fight, and I honestly thought Pennington should have won as well by split decision. I really did. I just think, Pennington had 112 total strikes to Pena's 123 total strikes. 2 for 3 on takedowns for Pena. I think that was the difference right there. But overall, it was just like Pena was just not really doing too much to where it was like, oh, man, this chick is so much better than Pennington. No, it was kind of the opposite in a way. I just thought the UFC's kind of pushing, Pena and just freaking Kayla Harrison to that matchup. There was some talking, but after the fight, Pena's kind of denying it. Wants to fight Amanda Nunes for the 3rd time. Amanda Nunes has been retired. She set off into the sunset. I don't think that fight should ever happen whatsoever, dude. Like, that Amanda Nunes, she's the greatest female fighter of all time in the UFC. She's not going to come back. She has no interest. I don't think she would. Why would she? She already beat Penna before, so I just think Juliana, it's just like she's reaching for that fight, even though she hasn't fought in like 2 years up until last weekend. So it's just like, well, I think the fight to make, and everybody knows, is Juliana Penna versus Kayla Harrison, sometime next year in the spring. That's the fight to make for the women's division. I just think for Juliana Penna to squeak out a victory like this, to retain the belt back in this type of fashion, I thought, Pennington did a lot in this fight. I thought a lot of the rounds, she was the aggressor. She was the one moving the pace. So to me, it wasn't like decisively where I'm like, Juliana Penna deserves this title right now. It's kind of like, I don't know. Like, I thought, maybe the champion, Pennington, should get the little nod, really. But that's not what happens. But shout out to Juliana Penna. She's looking for that fight, and I think it's going to be Kayla Harrison next. And speaking of Kayla Harrison, she handled business. She won by decision. Just a Class A. I mean, she took her down, grounded and pounded her. Even though the second round, it did look like, Kayla Harrison did deal through some adversity. She got cut. She got elbowed in the forehead, got cut up. But at the end of the day, it was all Kayla Harrison. She dominated. Even though the second round, I'd probably give the nod to the opponent. But at the same time, Kayla Harrison dominated rounds 1 and 3, and that's what won her this fight. I think going in to Kayla Harrison fighting Juliana Penna in the future, it's just like how that fight going to pan out as well. Kayla Harrison, we know she's an excellent wrestler. She's going to shoot for takedowns, and that's what she's going to do by any means necessary. So she's like the female Brock Lesnar / Khabib, and it's just hard to defend. It really is. You don't know when she's going to shoot. She does have heavy hands, even though I do think Kayla Harrison can work on her stand-up game a little bit more, especially throw some more leg kicks. Just mix it up. To be a great martial artist, you got to mix up your shots. You can't just be one-dimensional and be great. You have to mix in your game a little bit, and I think Kayla Harrison can improve in that in her game to mix it up. Throw some leg kicks, throw some quick jabs, throw some overhand rights, and then shoot for takedowns. Just mix it up a little bit. But Kayla Harrison, man, it looks like she's going to be that champion in the future in a couple months, really. Kayla Harrison, man, she's really about that life. She's an Olympic champion. I'm telling you right now, Kayla Harrison will be the champion at 135. Mark my words, she'll beat Juliana Penna in a couple months from now, man. I cannot wait for that matchup. Take off Kayla Harrison. Let's go! And then we had Kevin Holland lose, taking out a Roman. I told you guys to not go Kevin Holland. I knew this was a bad matchup for him. He ended up losing. It looked like he broke one of his ribs in the fight. I don't really know what happened exactly, but it looked like he just got hurt, man. It really did, but I just knew Kevin Holland, this matchup was bad. This dude, Roman, came down in weight. This guy's used to fighting. He probably was about 20-plus pounds over Kevin Holland come fight night. 20-pound, 30-pound difference, that is a huge difference, bro. That is a magnificent difference. You go to the gym and you add extra 25 to 30 pounds to your weight, that's huge. You're going to feel it. You're going to feel it, and Kevin Holland felt that. That's why I went against Kevin Holland in this fight. Even though Kevin Holland's fought so many times, it's just been crazy. But right now, man, Roman was that guy, and he looks like he's ready, man. He's calling out shots right now. Shout out to Roman one time for the one time. And then we had Aldo lose by decision, which a lot of people boo against a guy named Marino. And this dude, Marino, kept shooting takedowns. He was 0 for 10 on takedown attempts on Jose Aldo. Aldo did great. And really, this fight was really boring. It was a lot of hugging on the cage. And the guy was like, hey, it's not my fault Jose Aldo didn't get off the cage. Like, I get him in that aspect. But at the same time, from the fan perspective of MMA, we want to see action. We want to see shots thrown. We want to see takedowns. We want to see ground and pound. We don't want to see, opponents on the cage just kind of fighting in defensive takedown defense right there. And it's just like nothing's really happening. No shots are being thrown. You're not even throwing anything. It's just like, what are you trying to do? 0 for 10 on takedowns. I thought Jose Aldo should have got the nod, really. Even though he's been a legend in this sport, been in this decade for decades. And it's just like, man, Jose Aldo, they kind of screwed him in a way. 0 for 10 on takedowns. Great takedown defense for Jose Aldo. 65 total strikes to Marino's 90 total strikes. So I think the strike count was a little bit different in this fight. But as far as the takedown defense goes, Jose Aldo did great. I thought Jose Aldo came in this fight. He looked sharp, dude. He looked like his young self. Just looked quick and just on target. But Marino was controlling him a little bit of time. And I think that was the difference, was the time control on the cage. And I think it was like 2 or 3 minutes per round. So that makes a difference in UFC and MMA, where if you're controlling your opponent for a couple minutes each round, you're more likely going to get the nod, and that's why Jose Aldo ended up winning this fight. But the main card, I told you guys, man, Alex Pereira all day in that matchup. We had another dude, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, get knocked out by Buckley. Shout out to Buckley, man, up-and-comer. This guy he's going to be the future. Who knows? Could he be champion one day? Buckley has the skill and talent to do so. Does he have the mindset to get there to the top? Shout out to Buckley. But Alex Pereira, I told you guys to go heavy on Alex Pereira and heavy on Kayla Harrison. Those were my lock picks all weekend, man. I told you to go Buckley. So a 3-fight parlay, Buckley hit by knockout TKO, Alex Pereira TKO knockout, and then we had Harrison by decision. I told you guys to bag up one time for the one time. What a time it was for UFC 307. I can't wait till UFC 308. I believe it's the Max Holloway Topuria fight. And then in November, we got the GOAT, John Jones, at UFC 309, man. I cannot wait for that. It's the UFC. It's the Clown with Cab show. Let's